Alright, hey there everybody, and welcome to the third video, painting every fish in Stardew Valley as I catch them. Now we are in fall. If you've missed spring and summer, they're over on my channel. There's also a playlist of all of the ones so far, so make sure to check that out if you want to. This season we are starting off with the tiger trout, which is actually a fun little hybrid between a brook trout and a brown trout. It's got really fun coloring and all of these little squigglies on the side that kind of give it that tiger name, I think. But I really wanted to play into that red belly. Now we move on to the salmon, which bugs me a little, and we're going to get into it. So the Stardew Sprite is a very silver-looking fish, and salmon do appear silver when they're in the ocean. But in the fall, when they come back to the river, which is when you can catch it in Stardew in the fall in a river, that's when they get that green, red, pink look with the hooked lips. So I kind of did an in-between with my painting. I gave it that starting to get pink belly and a little bit of green on the back. And I also gave it lips that were starting to hook and curl over. And it's really neat how and why they change appearance, but we have to move into the midnight carp, which, if you did not know, is not a real fish. About almost half of the fish in fall that I painted were not actually real fish. Most of them actually were carps. So all I did was look at different types of carp and found a species that looked like a good base for our made-up fish. And then I adjusted the color palette. So for the midnight carp, I made a mirror carp look very purple. And I think it looks so cute the way it turned out. Not all of our made-up fish this season were as successful as the midnight carp was. But now we move into a crab pot catch, and back to a real-life animal, we have a mussel. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell in this video, especially in the speed paint section, but this may be one of the prettiest things I've ever painted. There's just so much subtle color difference in all of these blues, and I love the way the blues and the teals mix or contrast against that burnt sienna orangey brown color. It's just so pretty. Now we move on to the sea cucumber, which it's a real animal. It's just kind of a blob. There wasn't much to it, but it's real. Here it is. Now we've got our walleye, which, if I'm remembering my research correctly, is another type of pike. So yet again, a species of fish that we catch more than once in Stardew Valley. I love how green and spotty this little guy turned out. But if you've seen my other two videos, you know that while I like how it looks in the finished spread, I hate painting on the crack of the page. So there was a little bit of fighting with this guy, which seems fitting because you have to fight him a little bit to catch him in Stardew Valley. And if you remember the red snapper from summer, then this one was also kind of one of those ones that I had to go back and forth of adding highlights and shadows and colors and making it too muddy and then trying to fix it and then adding spots back in that I had smudged away by adding in more washes. But I do like how it turned out in the end. He's very cute and very green and spotty. Also, I'm sorry, y'all, if this voiceover is a little bit of a mess. It has been such a long day, and I should have done this earlier, but the video goes up tomorrow, so here we are doing it now at 11:30 at night. But that doesn't matter because we are moving on to our albacore, which is another type of tuna. So right after one another species that we catch more than once in this game. And don't get me wrong, I don't really mind that we catch multiple of the same group of fish. Like, I have no problem with us educating and enlightening people on more types of fish because everyone should know more types of fish. I know I'm definitely trying to know more types of fish. But we move on to our next made-up fish, and the legendary for fall, which is our angler. Now, I did do some research about whether there were freshwater anglerfish, because you do catch this guy in the river by the waterfall. And there actually are freshwater anglerfish, but they don't have the same little, like, lantern that we know of anglerfish. They do have something that sticks off the bit of their head. So I tried to take a frogfish, which is the freshwater anglerfish, and mainly give it the coloring of our in-game sprite and give it a little bit more of a glowy lantern. But we move on to another crab pot catch, the cockle, and you can actually find this one on the beach, but it does not go towards your master angler achievement. So I had to get this out of the crab pot. And I don't know if y'all heard that loud train that just came through, but hopefully you didn't. I just don't have the energy to re-record this more than one time. So hopefully it wasn't too bad. And we're gonna move on to another made-up fish. I think the majority of our not made up fish are crab pot things. And actually, as you'll see here, I had chosen a species of fish to base the ice pip off of. And then I learned about another fish, and then I came back and decided to change fish. So there's a little bit of a ghostly shadow underneath this one. But I ended up going with the Arctic grayling as my base, and then just making sure to, well, maybe not making sure to, but trying to make it nice and blue like the ice pip in the game. It did still come out very gray. Sometimes I have a hard time convincing my brain to stray from the reference, but it's got some of that blue in there. You can see it. And I hope it's fitting as the ice pip for y'all. I just thought it had a similar shape with the big back fin and the kind of rounded heart-shaped fin. The one I had chosen before was rare, like the ice pip. It didn't have the shape and it didn't feel right to me. So I'm really glad I learned about the Arctic grayling when I did, because it was just perfect for the ice pip, in my opinion. Now we move on to the lava eel, which I kept getting confused with a fire eel, and I was like, this is a real thing. It's not. The fire eel is real. So that's what I based the lava eel off of. And like the ice pip, I tried to play into more of those warm red tones. I just love how kind of deep velvety blue a fire eel is. I could not stray too far. So it ended up kind of a warm purple brownish color. But I do like how it kept some of those fiery markings along the side. And you'll see later in the close-ups, I think I did an okay job at keeping it that kind of velvety, soft touch look with it. But no joke, this whole time I've been playing through this game, I'm like, well, the lava eel is a real fish, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's not. It's the fire eel. Um, Here's where things get awkward. When we get to the mutant carp, I was so nervous and caught up about making it look mutant that I forgot to hit record and didn't realize until I went to stop the video. So that was a nice quick look at what I did, but we have to move on to the sandfish, which is a real fish, surprisingly. It's the flathead sandfish, and I believe they live in Australia, but it's a real fish, which was a relief after all of our made-up fishes. But we quickly go back to another made-up fish and another made-up carp. And let me just tell you, this run was fish blessed, because I caught not one scorpion carp on my first try, but another one immediately after that, and that never happens. And then I found a reference image that I thought fit the shape really, really well for the scorpion carp, and all I had to do was add some red onto the fins so it looked like our in-game sprite. So this one was by far the easiest made-up fish to paint. But unfortunately, we are already at the end of this video. As we progress through the seasons, there's less and less fish for me to catch. So that just means the videos are gonna get shorter. But we still have at least 2 more videos to look forward to. I hope you've been enjoying this project, and I hope you're excited for the last 2 videos. As you can see, we are really filling out this fish page, and we are moving along. I hope you had a good time.